Hi guys, it's your host today, Purple Sparkle. I am in Estes Park. Did you know that there is a time warp tunnel and a haunted woods? In addition to Estes Park's lore, it also has the Stanley Hotel, which if you're not familiar with, it's where the Jack Nicholson movie The Shining was filmed. It's a beautiful ground on the outside of it. Beautiful. Beautiful. But I'm not ballsy enough to go inside. I am such chicken shit. Not even gonna try. Okay, so here's what I found out. Trust in the instinct to the end, though you can render no reason. And this was said famously by Ralph Waldo Emerson, which I thought was a nice little beginning. Newsflash, the woods around Estes Park are cursed by carnivorous mists, as well as legends of ancient spirits. But don't let this scare you away, because the area is resplendent with natural beauty. It's quite beautiful. So beautiful. So beautiful. And they have really old architecture. Anyways, you have to come see it. And bring lots of money, because it's expensive. The first written account of its mysteries began in September 1885 when a team of engineers went scouting through the Rocky Mountain National Park looking for a new route for the railroad. The party was led by the distinguished Colonel Joseph T. Boyd. His name is all over Colorado if you don't know. Boyd is everywhere. Who was the founding father of Golden, Colorado, and the secretary to the governor of Colorado. The explorers made camp near the railroad hub of Lyons, Colorado, and then set out on horseback towards the village of Estes Park, which is about a 45-minute drive from Fort Collins. Boyd was immediately drawn to a large rock wall that seemed impenetrable until the men discovered a hidden tunnel. Their timid horses refused to enter the dark abyss. Gee, I wonder why. So the adventurous party ventured through on foot. Once inside the dark passageway, they began hearing haunting voices and shrieks of hideous laughter. Quaking with fear, the engineers were urged to retreat, but a strange force compelled them to push forward. At the end of the passageway, they were welcomed by a tropical paradise which seemed to be unfathomable, considering the dry, arid climate they just came from. After lunch, the curious explorers ventured into the nearby cave. Stumbling through the darkness, they finally reached a large cabin illuminated by a strange ethereal light. And in the center of the room was a mound of twinkling treasure surrounded by human skeletons. Being a scholarly man, Colonel Boyd examined the artifacts and reasoned that it was an ancient treasure tomb belonging to a great Aztec chief. But as Boyd reached for the nifty souvenir, the earth rumbling shook the cavern. Boyd and his team fell to their knees. Suddenly, they were assaulted by blinding light, accompanied by an agonizing cornucopy of horrific sounds. A thunderous voice trumpeted over the agonizing din, saying something in the ancient guttural language like, "Leave our holy sanctuary or die!" No doubt, a few arcane curse words were added to the mix for good measure. Right. Okay. Once they stumbled out of the cave, the mysterious blue haze quickly enveloped everything in sight. Not a word was spoken, as inhumane screams and growls closely followed them back to camp. But the next morning, everything was status quo, as if traveling through a time warp tunnel and being chased by hungry demons never happened. Greedy for the unclaimed prize, the determined party spent the next few weeks searching for the mysterious rock wall, only to find disappointment. Had it all been just some weird sort of a collective dream, or had they entered into another dimension? Baffling headlines for the Rocky Mountain News screamed, "Marvelous mystery!" A story of a beautiful St. Varen Valley and its secrets, which has never been solved. A walled park, but one entrance, in which strange things have seen and horrible voices heard. Mysterious caverns with enormous deposits of mineral wealth and wonderful features. By some appearance enchantment, the whole scene vanishes. Years later, on May 29, 1911, the Rocky Mountain newspaper report that Captain Boyd's 2 grown sons continued to search for the tunnel, the treasure, and the time warp. But they were never found. Today, the armchair historians believe that the mystery happened on Old Man Mountain, which is now a protected archaeological site. An ancient Indian trail surrounds the mystical mountains, and the rock formations resembling 2 gigantic heads guard the pathway. I love this, guys. Oh, this is a good time in Estes Park. Okay. One of the ominous stones sentinelizes, gazes to the south, and the other looks to the north. There are also many mysterious rock mounds scattered on the hillsides. Well, that sounds kind of nifty. I wonder if they're magnetic. In 1911, reporters interviewed Apache Indians, Arapahoe Indians, and learned the mysterious piles of rocks held sacred significance, and that those who disturbed them would die from an ancient curse. To protect the folks from the jinx, the state of Colorado widely posted no trespassing signs on the bottom of Old Man Mountain. But according to the 134-year-old Elkhorn Guest Ranch, you can still access the trails to the mountain from its lodge outside Estes Park if you're willing to tempt your fate. Who wants a road trip? Let's go. I don't even know if they're taking reservations. Anyways, but Old Man Mountain is not the only place in the mist that have been recorded. A local man named Miner Bill also saw them hovering over nearby Mount Caplain. Also another famous name. But Bill believed he was personally responsible for creating a weird phenomenon. Apparently the miner was digging near his cabin when he inadvertently dug up the bed of quartz. Ooh, that'd be lots of money to some people. Once the crystals were unearthed, a creepy blue fog oozed over the mountain, and he began hearing plaintive howls wailing through the night. Howl! Whoa, whoa, whoa! When the blanket lifted, it was revealed to be a multitude of mutilated animals littering the slopes. Bill also found strange tripod footprints stamped into the snow and marked onto surrounding tree trunks, which he blamed on the Skinwalkers. I wonder if they have a copy of this Skinwalker Ranch. These ancient Indian spirits peeled fresh hides off of animals, and wore them as cloaks in order to shapeshift into that creature. Although Bill seemed harmless as a church mouse, townies thought he was crazier than a cross-eyed parrot. Especially once he began drinking and rattling on about the carnivorous mist. Yet locals believed Bill's wild tales were just pathetic ploy to get attention. That is until the old drunk wasn't seen in Estes Park for a while, and they began to worry. Oh man, I hope the old guy's okay. Finally, a search party was sent up Caplain Mountain, where they found Bill, 3 beloved hound dogs, ripped to shreds. Jesus. Surrounded by some particular hoof prints that the Enigma had warned about. Inside Miner Bill's cabin, they found what was left of the misanthrope after the Miss Gaze had got a hold of him. At least, the youngster died a hero, since he tried to warn others about the carnivorous mist. Because of this screwy old man's brave sacrifice, nearby the YMCA camp named for the rock formation, Miner Bill Spire. And kids come up missing there all the time, by the way. Like, missing people in Estes Park is one of the local lores, and it's very hush-hush. There's actually rumored to be an active satanic cult. I don't know. Whatever. However, it was a dubious distinction considering of the gigantic eyesore resembling a corkscrew. But no one was laughing when shortly thereafter the mists claimed yet another poor soul. Estes man's death shrouded in mystery. Carl Jackson found outside cabin dead near Estes Park. No signs of violence. Moved to Greeley last year. And that was in Fort Collins Weekly Courier, July 9th of 1911. The article continues to say, Mr. March said he heard Jackson getting up several times during the night, but was finally awakened by what he thought was a dog growling. He locked the door and saw Jackson, apparently in great distress. He called to him, and getting no response, put on his clothes and hurried out into the yard, where he found Jackson's body lifeless. The coroner was unable to detect any signs of violence or of suicide. This is great, right? Okay. I do gotta be honest with you, though, guys. I'm not one to spook, but Estes Park does have a little crazy something to it. So, you know. Thumbs up. It continues. Are you ready for the rest of the mystery? I'm so excited. Sadly, the mystery was never solved, and the legend tells of the blue mist still haunting the woods around Estes Park, which to this day is still seen by the locals. One can't talk about the mysteries of Estes Park without mentioning the infamous Stanley Hotel, perched above the quaint village. It is a very small village, guys. The historic lodge of the inspirational Stephen King's bestseller novel, The Shining. No doubt, the legendary blue mist and ancient Indian spirits were an inspiration for the book, making the Stanley world renowned for its haunts. The historic hotel was built by Mr. F.O. Stanley, who also appeared to be an inventor of the Stanley steamer automobile. He and his wife Florna established the luxurious resort after moving to Estes Park due to Mr. Stanley's declining health. Could spirits of the Stanleys be lingering around their former home? Employees claim the haunting piano music can be heard drifting from the music room late at night. Again, the locals, a lot of them don't work there because they freak out. Which they attribute to the late Mrs. Stanley's classically trained ghost, Kris, Kent, and Mike Coletta. Excuse me, I don't know where I got the R from. The Rocky Mountains ghost explorers believe the spirit of Miss Stanley still hangs around, and they have posted evidence on their website. Ooh, that would be fun. There is also a Halloween, and depending on how much you pay and how much of a scare you want, there's a tour. And if your pockets are deep, you can see some crazy stuff. But I've heard some people dying during that particular one, so don't be too excited to die. Just saying, I like you. I'd miss you. Be sad. Everybody would be sad who knows you. Miss Kris, very detailed apparition of Miss Flora on video, which formed from a mysterious, you got it guys, blue mist. The mystical escoplasm swirled into the aspiration of a smiling woman with very clear features, including her double-stranded necklace. Surprisingly, the ghost looked like identical of the Miss Flora Stanley, including her prized pearls. However, it's not known if anyone heard the hectic howling just before the mist formed, or if the mutilated animals were ever found littering the nearby hillsides. But Donnie Reed, a professional clairvoyant and radio personality known as Psychic X Journeyman, believes that the mysterious blue mists are actually connected spirits of the so-called Ancient Ones. Donnie reasons that the supernatural paranormal is responsible for suffocating many who have trembled on ancient hallowed grounds, but no matter what you believe, it's safe to say that there are long been mysterious shenanigans going on in that neck of the woods. There are still reports of animals being bitten to death. One bite, they're dead. Or animals suddenly dropping from the sky. Entire bird troves. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but birds have been dropping dead all over the planet. So could it be electrical, magnetics, whatever? There's a whole scientific study on that. But getting back to this, the locals say that a lot of this is only touching the very tip of the iceberg, and there is so much more there, and it does directly go into the local satanic cult and the active occults, because there's various occults also active in Estes Park, and most of them have a higher education of archaeology and so forth. It's very interesting, but just wanted to share that with you. Okay, time to leave Estes Park. The long drive down. I do want to hit some of the shops. Deep Pockets, telling you what, it's so quaint, so cute, but expensive. I do not recommend staying in Estes Park. I've had friends who used to be all into that, like the paranormal, and 3 of them went missing, and then one will never go back. And then a couple others, and nothing happened. I don't know. Whatever. I don't have the balls to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big chicken. Quack.